Hi there and welcome to my channel. My name is Debbie and today I'm going to be guiding you through a deep stretch yin style sequence where we'll be holding poses or stretches for around 2 to 3 minutes. Start by getting into a seated position, either cross-legged or kneeling, and take a few deep grounding breaths while I explain today. Holding poses like we're going to be doing today really gets deep into the connective tissue and fascia and allows it to relax. This creates deep healing. In a practice like this, we shift away from our sympathetic or fight or flight nervous system into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest mode. As we move away from fight or flight, we move into a relaxation response, and stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline will begin to drop, and we really create an environment on a very deep level where healing can take place and your body can recalibrate and come back into balance and homeostasis. In any of the poses today, during this practice, you could experience sweet release, boredom, or intense irritation, but just keep your breath steady and your mind present and only go to your edge. With stretching, you never want to jump straight into the most intense, painful stretch. Your body will end up resisting and you'll achieve the opposite. Rather ease and breathe into the stretches and your body will begin to trust you and open up. We'll begin today in toes pose, which is great for runners and for people who spend a lot of time on their feet. Place your knees on the mat and curl all your toes under and sit on top of your heels. Make sure all your toes are tucked forward. This stretch is great for stretching your toes and increasing flexibility in them, and for the fascia under your feet, which can get very tight. Start off by putting your hands on the floor in front of you. If this does not feel enough, then move your hands onto the top of your knees. If you still want to go further and want the deepest expression of the stretch, put your hands onto your thighs and sit right back onto your heels, and then you'll really feel the fascia under your feet stretch. This pose can get quite intense. If at any time it feels too much, just move your hands onto the floor in front of you and take some deep breaths. You'll be sitting here for just under 2 minutes. For most of these poses, I won't talk between them, so you can really breathe into the area and go into a meditative state. But I would just like to explain what we're going to be doing with these longer poses today and how our bodies react. When holding stretches for a long time, like we're doing today in this yin yoga sequence, deep tissue hyaluronic acid is released. Hyaluronic acid is a water-loving chemical, so the more of it that we have within our body, the more of a youthful quality we will embody as it plumps up the fascia. These deep stretches focus on fascia and connective tissue. Normal stretches that we hold for 30 seconds or a minute, we will only release muscle and bring blood flow into the area. But with these longer stretches, we release the fascia. The fascia is like a wrapping that surrounds the muscle tissue. In many ways, we can think of fascia as the smart tissue of the body, as it sends a message from the brain to the muscle. Muscles can only contract or release quickly. Fascia is much slower and stiffer. So the long hold poses that we're doing today will create space in this quieter, more mysterious tissue in our body. It helps to breathe softly into the area being stretched. Fascia is very important in our movement practices. When we take time to gently, slowly release this connective tissue, we invite the area to soften, lubricate, and let go. Let's come out of the toes pose and gently tap the feet behind you to get some blood flow back into them. For the next stretch, we're going to be stretching our shins and the fronts of our ankles and the fronts of our feet. This is an area that we often neglect and it can get very, very tight. Sit in a kneeling position and place a towel or a pillow under your knees. If this feels like it's not enough, you can place another towel or pillow or a block on top of that. To go into the deepest expression of the stretch, take the towel and the pillow away and sit back on your hands, lifting your knees up. This will really get deep into the shins and deep into the front of the feet and the ankles. If all of this feels like it's too much, you can just kneel on the floor and this will also stretch your shins. You can see that I am lifting up my knees quite high and leaning back into my hands. This stretch is great for alleviating the symptoms of shin splints. It's also great for increasing the flexibility in your knees and in your ankles. We're going to be holding this for a while. Just breathe deeply, and if at any time it feels too much, simply kneel. Coming out of this pose, we're going to move into a child's pose. Feet together, knees apart as wide as the mat. Sit back on your heels to begin with, and then lean forwards. You'll feel a stretch the whole way down your back. The lower back, mid back, upper back. Try and stretch your hands in front of you, get your forehead on the mat, and keep your bum near your heels. We will just hold this for a short time before we move to the next stretch. Next we have a runner's lunge. Right leg in front, knee bent at a right angle. Your left leg is stretched behind. We're going to be getting into that left hip flexor. Place the hands on either side of your right foot in front of you. Sink the hips down as far as you can go, not too deep like I explained in the introduction. As your body melts into the pose, you can go deeper. Just breathe into it and relax. If you want to get deeper into the left hip flexor, you can put both hands on your knees and lean slightly back in a mild back bend, and you can lift your left arm up and lean over to the right. Or just keep your hands onto your knees or back onto the floor in front of you. It's totally up to you how deep you want to go into the stretch. If your hands are on your knees, you're really going to feel it in that left hip flexor and into the left quad. Coming out of that, let's stretch the right hamstring by going into half splits. We're not going to be here for very long, just to stretch that right leg out a bit. Let's come into runner's lunge on the next side. So this time the left leg in front at a right angle, with the right leg behind you. You can keep your hands on either side of the left leg. For a deeper expression of the stretch, your hands can go onto your left knee. You can lift your right arm up and lean over to the left. Choose how far you want to go. With your hands on your knees, you're on a slight back bend, so you can feel the right hip flexor and hamstring really stretching. You're still going to get the benefits of the stretch with your hands on the floors in front of you. Coming out, let's stretch the left hamstring by going into the half splits. You can point and flex your toes. You're not going to be here for very long again, just stretching that left leg out a bit. We're going to be stretching the hamstrings next. This is where you'll need a towel, a strap, or a rope. You're going to be lying down on your back. Place the strap on the balls of your feet, so just behind your toes before the arch of your foot, and lie back. You can keep your left leg straight or bent, it's entirely up to you. Lift your right leg up. You can bend the leg like I'm showing here. If that's as far as your hamstring will allow you, that's perfectly fine. Or you can straighten it like I am. You can bend the left leg like I'm showing here, or straighten it if you want a deeper expression of the stretch. And then just hold, and you can point and flex your toes. You can bend and straighten that right leg. It's entirely up to you how you want to move in the stretch, or you can just hold it still. You may want to have a pillow or a towel under your head like I have, or you may want to lie flat on the floor. Release the leg from that stretch and pull both knees into your chest and move from side to side, massaging your lower back. We're going to be switching sides, so place the towel or the strap on the ball of your left foot, just underneath your toes, in front of your arch. You can keep the right leg bent, or you can straighten it. You can bend the left leg as much as you need to, or you can straighten it. You can keep your leg still, the left leg, or you can point and flex your toes, or if you want, you can bend and straighten the leg. Or you can just hold the stretch and keep it still. And as the fascia relaxes and trust that you're not going to force it into a position it doesn't want to go to, your leg will straighten and open and release. Remember that you will always be getting the benefits of the pose and the stretch, no matter how far you go, because you're going to your edge and where your body is ready right now. Let's release that stretch and once again pull both knees into your chest and move from side to side, massaging your lower back. We're now going to go into a figure 4 stretch, which will be stretching your right glute and your right hip. Bend the left leg, place the right ankle onto the left knee. Now if this is far enough, you can just stay there. You'll feel a stretch into your right glute and to your right hip. If you want to go deeper, move the left leg back towards your chest. You can hold on to your left knee, or if you prefer, you can hold on behind your left thigh. Try and pull the left knee into your chest and keep the right knee out. You're going to really feel this deep into your glute and deep into your hip. Coming out of that stretch, place your feet on the mat width apart, and windshield wipe your knees from side to side, swaying from side to side to get some mobility into those hips. We're coming into a figure 4 stretch on the other side next. So place your right leg on the floor, bent, and your left ankle over your right knee. You can stay in this position if the stretch in your hip and glute is enough, or you can move your right leg back, grab behind your right thigh onto your right knee, pull your right leg into you, and try and keep the left knee stretching out so you're feeling that stretch into the glute and the hip on the left hand side. And just hold. Breathe into it. Feel you can come deeper. Move your right leg further into your chest and your left knee out. We are now joined by my very handsome cat Archie. He absolutely loves yoga or any kind of exercise. Well, watching it, not actually doing it. Coming out of this, hug both knees to your chest and move from side to side. We're next going to move into a stretch that is going to stretch our right quadricep, knee, and ankle. In a seated position, keep your left leg straight in front of you. Move your right foot onto the outside of your right thigh. Keep your knees together. So your right foot is on the outside of your right hip thigh area. Your knee is bent, obviously. Now you can stay like this, or you can move back onto your elbows. You can put your left hip glute onto a block or a towel, like I'm showing you now, or you can remove it, like I'm removing it now. We're wanting to move back, but Archie's a little bit in the way. So move back without squashing your cat. Now if you are flexible enough, you can go right back. What you don't want is for your right knee to lift up. It must stay against your left knee on the floor, and you're going to feel the stretch all the way down your right quadricep, into your knee and into the ankle. You don't want to feel a sharp pain, so just go as far as you can go. Coming out of this pose slowly, if you're all the way back, sit up into an upright position, moving slowly. Move your right leg next to your left leg and wiggle them both around, getting the blood flow back into that right knee. It's not unusual for it to feel a bit stiff. We're now going to move to do the pose on the other side. So the right leg stretched out in front of you. Bend the left knee so that the foot is on the outside of the left thigh or glute. You can put a block or a towel under your right glute or hip. Or you can sit on the floor like I'm going to be. You're going to be feeling the stretch into your left knee, to the left ankle, and to the left quadricep. You can stay seated like I am, or you can move back onto your elbows. Or if you're really flexible, you can move right back onto your back. Now this side could feel different to the other side. We can often have more flexibility in one side than the other. So staying on your elbows or moving right back, but just making sure that that left knee is next to the right knee and does not lift up. Just breathe and feel that lovely release into that left thigh, left knee, left ankle. Let's come out of this slowly, nice and slowly, sitting up, straightening that left leg slowly and wiggling it around, getting the blood flow back. We're now going to be opening up our legs and stretching in to the inner thighs or adductors and to the hamstrings. You'll also be stretching the backs of the knees. You may want to sit in a towel or a block so that your pelvis is tilted slightly forward, or you can stay on the floor. Now let gravity just move your body and your head down into a forward lean between your legs. You don't have to go too far. Some people can get their entire body and their head, torso on the ground in front. I'm definitely not there yet or ever. So just go where you feel comfortable. Let gravity pull your head down. You'll feel this stretch working into the hamstrings, the inner thighs, behind the knees, a little bit into your lower and upper back. Just breathe and relax into it. Move gently out of that pose. We're now going to integrate all the stretches that we have done by doing what people in yoga call the most important pose, which is Shavasana. So lying back onto a pillow, onto a towel. Just relax your body, give yourself some space. Your arms to your sides, legs can flop open. Just breathe and surrender. Feel yourself sinking into the earth. And just let all the hard stretching poses that you've done come into integration. And just stay in some silence for a few minutes. Start to wiggle your toes, stretch your hands up behind. Come into a nice full body stretch. Stretch everything on your toes all the way to your fingers. Stretch your back, stretch your side. Slowly, slowly sit up.
This is a different class to what I usually do. Hope you enjoyed it. Your body will feel amazing tomorrow, and we'll thank you for taking this time out to give it some love and some rest. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.